Hello. I am being asked to introduce myself in your tongue. You have called my kind Mohawk. I've come to speak on the development of your people, your country, because we, my people, and our neighboring peoples were a part of it too. On this side, the land of spirit, we find it interesting that it has been written that somehow we were not involved in this, that somehow we were pushed aside, as if your people hated my people. This was not so. We worked together, but perhaps, as it is, they call it a long game, things long forgotten, no more oral tradition. Perhaps this is the downfall of taking away an oral tradition, writing it down. How can you trust those who have written it? Perhaps you might ask, how can we trust those who orate it? But it comes down to what you feel in your heart. So they have said that our peoples were separate, but we were not. But in the long game, if you can keep these two people fighting, to think that they were hated amongst each other, that we killed on sight, that you killed on sight, then that hatred would be felt in your modern era, that you would not get along. I see. But I can speak on the questions that you have, as we were right there. Yes, amongst the people that wrote your document, claiming what the authority of the land would be and how it would be, and shaping it so that all questions would be answered. Why you had your amendments, so that you could clarify what couldn't be written the first time. You have brought up your Bill of Rights. There is so much that morphs and changes throughout history. And what you must go back to is your document. You call it your Constitution. That was the spirit and the heart of what you wanted for this land. Do you know how my people and your people created this document? Yes, my people too. Is this not mentioned in your history books? It was the peoples that you had come to be among. We came together on this, not just the white man. We asked the land what would be the best. For you, this land was new. For us, this land was old. And we brought our new and old perspectives to the table. We shared, many tribes, Choctaw, Cherokee, all of us, many, many tribes, on what worked and what did not seem to work in our own governing. We did not have a government, but we had a way of governing ourselves and our tribes. And so we had shared that with the peoples in the British territories. And they shared what they remembered from the lands that they had come from, what worked, what did not work. They shared what was working now and what was not working. And so, in essence, the land spoke. And we listened, all of us. Sure, there were men full of pride and ego, wanting to write that in to your constitution. But this is something inherent in all peoples, my peoples, your peoples. But if you look at its heart, it is alive. It is not just a document. And so these different amendments, you call it, were written to clarify for those who could not read its heartbeat, could not feel it at a deeper level, could not hear the land and its people speaking. And so thus your Bill of Rights, also created for those who could not see right in front of their own nose what should be a right. So perhaps as things change over time in your modern time, not to take away your Bill of Rights, but perhaps it could be clarified to make it more clear on what is inherent in every being. Put it in black and white again, so to speak, for those who cannot read the spirit of what your country was created on, what was founded. So, in my opinion, a clarification is needed. There are those who will claim that because the language is old, that therefore the words written so long ago are also old and outdated. Do we cut down a tree just because it is old, even though it continues to grow and thrive? No, this makes no sense. So why would we take away something just because it is old? Perhaps it needs a new perspective to be made clear so that all could feel that heartbeat once again. You have another question about why your people wanted to break away from the land across the ocean. Why, ultimately? And I say this with the least amount of ego that I can. But your people came to love our people. You saw that the way we interacted with other tribes, the way we lived off the land, the way we connected to our animals, the way we connected to our trees, the way that we even spoke to the wind, that everything was alive and everything was free. The sun is free, the wind is free, the animals, the earth itself is free. And we have the opportunity to live upon it. And we are grateful for that. This does not mean that we did not have war between our tribes. Again, all men live with ego to varying degrees. And it's only when wars take place is because we have forgotten that we are a part of this land. It is not something to be taken. And so your people saw this, what it was like to govern yourselves, to be free from some figure, some overlord, telling you how to live your life, how to defend yourself, how to have your own home. That strangers do not enter your home without your permission. You saw this in us, and you modeled much of your country after us because we work together. Were there fights amongst our people? Yes. Were there tragedies? Yes. Just like I said, between our own peoples, we fought amongst each other sometimes. And again, it's when you forget where you are really from, the land itself. And any squabble you may have is when you forget that nothing is permanent, when you forget that nothing can be beholden, nothing can be enslaved, that eventually all will be free. And that is the real reason you wanted to break away. You found your confidence after so long of being beat down, being held prisoner, so to speak, being a slave to your own people. You did not want to take it anymore. Perhaps the spirit of your ancestors spoke to you. They cried out to you that they wanted to be free. And so you fought back. And you realized as a whole, you would rather die being a free people than live being enslaved forever. And so we helped you. We understood this in the spirit of where your people were coming from. Your final question about your forefathers and your foremothers. What would they say today? We are a part of that. Our name, not written on your declaration or your constitution, because this was not something that we claimed. We knew that this was something that you needed in your own growth and your own progress to create something for yourselves. And we did not want to take that away from you. We did not want your country, so to speak. We wanted to continue to live amongst ourselves on our land. It didn't matter who they said whose land it was. We were in agreement with how this land should be utilized and how the people should be free upon it. So we continue to live amongst our tribes, amongst our people. And you created a little something for yourselves, which eventually became a country, incorporating different aspects of this land far and wide, from one ocean to the next. And I would ask you, just as much as I know that those who put pen, so to speak, to paper, to create what you call your country, they would ask you if you are feeling free today. Do you feel free to live in your homes? Do you feel free to educate and teach your children? Do you feel free to speak up against those who claim to own you? Do you feel free to be who you are, practice what you want to practice, your varying religions? Do you feel free to speak your mind? Do you feel free to defend yourself? Do you feel free to close your door to strangers if they are uninvited in your home? Do you feel free? It is okay if some of your answers were that you do not feel free. But this is a start, a discussion you must have. Because your ancestors had these same discussions, asked these same questions. And when they had decided that they were not okay with the answer to not feeling free in these areas, they came together to ensure that they could feel free because they believed it was a right, that all people should feel free in these areas. Today, in your schools, you talk about helicopter parents nitpicking how their child dresses, what their child eats, who their child can hang out with, where they can hang out, what they are allowed to learn. Do you not feel that there is a larger presence of a helicopter parent in your nation? If you are okay with this, so be it. But if you are not, perhaps it's time you stood up to your helicopter parent and voiced your right to speak to them and to change things if you do not like it. This is your country after all. And maybe if you speak, our people, my descendants, will remember how to speak as well. That is for another time, to speak on my people. But they too must remember how to be free, for they have forgotten, just like you. Be well.